The following podcast is a next level production.
Let's get to the elephant in the room. The mainstream media won't leave it alone. How could you not know that Stormfront was a Nazi?
Well, okay, so let me say it again, Cam. I may be a superhero, but I'm also just a man who fell in love with the wrong woman.
Well, we all know what that's like.
Right, yeah. Look, I'm not perfect, Cameron, far from it. I know I'm bulletproof on the outside, but in here, it isn't. I'm just as human as all the rest of you.
More with Homelander after this.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I am Rob.
And this week, we're going to be covering The Boys Season 3, Episode 1.
Payback
of The Boys. So, the boys are back in town.
In a big way.
Yeah, exactly. Steve is currently on vacation right now, so Rob decided he wanted to help us out with this coverage of this particular episode. And thanks, Rob, for being on.
Oh, my pleasure.
So the synopsis for this, well, basically payback. They're getting some sort of payback. It's a year later after the last incidents of season 2. Butcher has been sidelined. He has to deal with his dead wife's kid, which is not his. It's Homelander's. He's buddying up to the kid and his former boss at that point, who's taking care of him. And on top of that, Huey is working for pretty much like the government, if you think about it.
Correct.
He walked away from the boys, is now in charge of this like task force or this person in Congress. And the boys themselves all of them are pretty much on hiatus. They're doing their own thing. And now we come into circumstances of what's going on. So, your overall thoughts, Rob. What did you like about the episode?
Well, I'm going to say this is one hell of a way to start a season 3.
Yeah.
It really is. So here's the fun. So the episode starts, right? And the beginning of the episode has, Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Which shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah, same here.
It seems like it seems like Charlize Theron really, really wants to be in a superhero movie because she made her appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the end scene on that. And of course, we all know that she was with Will Smith on Hancock as a type of superhero.
Correct.
But yeah, all of a sudden I saw her and I was like, whoa. All right, what the hell is going on here? It was actually very it was cool. And then that's when I noticed. I thought it was like a dream sequence, and then that's when I noticed that it was one of their movies that I guess that they normally do.
It was the movie that they started shooting in season 2 that they kind of shucked because of that Hail Hitler person that was Stormfront that was there.
Stormfront, yeah.
Yeah, and they had to vet her and get rid of her at that point.
Correct.
Which it makes a lot of sense for a corporation to do that. They want to separate themselves away from this. So it's okay. All right, we're going to get rid of the brown-eyed, brunette, gimpy little girl. And we're going to get somebody that kind of looks more endearing to, I guess, the Aryan race.
Blonde, blue-eyed.
Blonde hair, blue-eyed. They're the Nazis. Now, mind you, they already have one on their side, which is Homelander.
Right.
And of all things. And it's like, okay, let's obliterate it. So it's the whole story arc of, we had to get rid of Stormfront.
No, exactly.
So they did that within film form, which is pretty cool. And I thought, wow, this was amazing. I love this idea. Okay, this is a story, and you can see it in Homelander's eyes as he's watching it on film. He's there in the audience watching this, and you can see a tear coming out of his eye.
Well, what's interesting, too, is because you could tell that that's not how he feels.
Oh, no, it's not, because he says anti-Nazism to her in the film, and he loves her dearly.
Oh yeah.
Well, to some degree, his love for himself, I think, if you think about it, because we see things later on and episodes in the future regarding her. But to me, it was just like, oh, okay. I think one of the coolest part was during the film, like the premiere itself, you see Huey with Starlight.
Right.
And he has to stand there on the red carpet. You know, Homelander's giving Maeve the cold shoulder, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I thought it was pretty funny. It's like, oh, okay, they're going through all these interviews, and then you can see Homelander kind of giving that look. But, you know, Starlight's like, hey, back up or whatever. So he backs up right into Homelander. It's like, oh, it's kind of a Starlight you got there, kid. Like a catchphrase. Because it's like one of those like uncomfortable instances of like, yeah, we were put in this position, and he like
it's interesting how, you know, when you look at Homelander, and of course you look at Homelander throughout the entire 3 seasons, but when you look at Homelander, this is a person that is just a hair away from just
losing it,
losing it completely. And as a matter of fact, I mean, I know we're talking about the first episode here, and they already released 3 episodes, and you watched the 3 episodes, I watched the 3 episodes, which we won't be getting into, but you could see where where at least it's heading to, which is very interesting. But this is a man that you could tell that there's just the actor's pretty good at showing how unhinged this character is.
They're all afraid of him.
Yeah. Oh, terrified. It is a terrifying. But what's funny is that the actor himself has gotten himself into real trouble.
Oh, yeah.
So he's probably a real psychopath. And I don't know. I mean,
I don't think so. I don't think to that extent. But the thing is that he's had his own issues, and
exactly,
and it's a way for him to convey that, at least on screen. So that way, it's like, all right, I made some mistakes, but at least he's a little bit more humbled about it. But in this case, this person is superpowered, genetically engineered, and is not humbled in any way, and has no remorse.
No, he wants to be loved. He wants to be the center of attention.
Love or hated. Love or hated.
Yes, love or hated. I mean, that's what he wants. But he just wants to be that center. He wants to be the number one. He wants to be like everybody's top priority, and that's what he wants. And he feels like he could get away with that. Another part of the that I like was the way the party in the beginning sets the tone for the rest of the season.
Yes.
So that party. What did you think about that?
The party or the very beginning? The first thing my takeaway was Colby Minifie as Ashley, and her getting pounded by the director of the film in the bathroom, and him having to pull more hair. Now, mind you, the woman has already lost a lot of hair. Pull it out! And
she didn't want to pull the hair, just pull it out.
Now, mind you, how much hair does this woman have? Is she wearing a wig at one point? Because she was already losing like hair as it was.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I love Colby Minifie. She's a beautiful girl, a woman, and on top of that, it's like the character is just like one extreme, very like meekish in front of people that are of superpowered and things of that nature, or the people that she works for. And then the next thing you know, when she's of her own power, she's empowered by herself and kind of shifts the power to the people below her and starts smacking them around. But in this case, it's like, wow, this is rough sex in a men's bathroom stall.
Yeah.
And Huey seems to walk in on this. And no sooner after that, we get, of all things, Butcher showing up, and you realize that Butcher is working for Huey now. And to me, honestly, that's a pretty cool thing. But the thing is, you could see that Butcher's been put in his place, as we know from the last season. So he's working for Huey, and for this particular team, he's hired out, and the team's been hired out by Huey and what was it, the senator or something at that point?
What's her name? I keep forgetting her name,
Yeah,
but Nadia.
Nadia, or they call her something different at this point too in the show itself, if you remember. I'm trying to remember her name. I'm looking it up as we speak. But I find it funny. But we also get some incidences of, like, with Queen Maeve and Homelander himself. He is not, because she keeps throwing that from the last season to him, saying how he is unstable and how that video would get out. Even Huey states that. But I find it funny, though, that it's Victoria Newman. Is it not?
Oh, is that what she's going by, Victoria Newman?
Yeah, even though it's she is known throughout the episode as Nadia, that somebody keeps looking at for.
Right.
But the thing is that we got Butcher going out there, sent on it, and his team. We got the Asian girl that can't speak. We got Frenchie. Kimiko and Frenchie are there.
Right.
They're on a mission. They're going to see Termite. All that cool stuff. And
yeah, that's the party I'm talking about. I mean, like I said, it sets the tone for the entire.
Oh yeah, it's the most extreme thing. We already know from the first 2 seasons, a lot of these soups are either extremely perverse, multi-sexual. We do see a lot of penis in the very beginning, as it were. Honestly, you got to give women their own too, and we've seen a lot of women nude throughout the years, but in this case, we get a lot of male nudity, which is fine. We've seen it in of all things, American Gods as well, and certain shows like that. But the funny thing is that Termite could go from like Ant-Man to Giant Man in a heartbeat, and in this case, he's got a lover, and he wants him to go through his penis. Or his ass. And
at first, that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be like, he was going to do some anal stuff. And then all of a sudden, you see, the tip
of the man's his genitals or penis, and he jumps through it. But there was a bit of foreshadowing within that particular scene. Now, mind you, we're probably jumping into all our top 5s, but we don't care.
No, yeah.
Right now, this is a casual conversation, but the fact that he jumps right into it, and you see the tip, and you see the hole, and he goes into it. He walks into it, and the guy is like, and he's touching the sides. He's having a good time. And if you guys are really disturbed about this, sorry, but this is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the episode as it is. He's getting all excited. The guy that Termite's inside. But then you get the sneezing. He sneezes and he becomes big. Because they already did a bump of coke.
He blows him up.
And he blows him up and he splits him in half. And then Kimiko sees him. Frenchie sees him. They're trying to stop. And it takes Butcher to come in with a bag of blow and throw the Termite inside there.
That was one of the funniest parts. He just grabs him, shakes him in there.
Yeah, shakes him in there, and last thing you want him to do is to sneeze again and be huge with a small little baggie. But he could suffocate. All he has to do is pull the Ziploc over, and he's good and done. But apparently it was contained, according to what Huey says to Victoria Newman.
Right. So, and you could tell that Butcher, you could tell that Butcher does not like the idea that Huey's the one that he has to take orders from sometimes.
Well, yeah, because Butcher was always the one that was in charge, and Huey is always this, the lapdog that needs to be taught. He's the junior. Now, Butcher is working for the government, as it were, as some sort of secret team. Right. And, it's hard for him because he has to take orders.
Correct. Yeah, no, he not only has to take orders, but then he's been out on this, of course, revenge of, trying to kill all these people with powers, and the fact that they told him, you can't kill him, so he was about to kill, Termite, and then he had to hold off.
He held back.
You could tell that he was just so frustrated with that.
Yeah.
This is another man that's also unhinged himself. So you've seen like the two one with powers and the one without. One wants revenge, the other one wants, to be adored or whatever it is and feared. But you could tell Butcher is like, his whole thought is, because of everything he's gone through in the past, is, hey, I need to get rid of all these people. I need to exact revenge on what they did to me. So
yeah, it's really weird in the sense that like the power struggle is there and it's there, but we do get a change of that in future episodes at this point.
Right.
But the fact is that Huey's in charge right now and Butcher has to listen to him. And, and of all things too, I saw, if you look at the scenes with Victoria Newman and Huey, there's a bit of flirtation in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
you can tell they're like just best buds kind of thing. And that type of, that type of stuff. I mean, the whole bagel thing I thought was funny.
Yeah. Especially with the fact that she has to eat his food. And and on top of that, it's like, even Starlight's not even quick to understand that or see that at certain times. Right. It's a whole different life for Huey. He's involved with the government for this, and he's following suit with whatever Victoria gives him. And I just love that aspect. It's kind of like, you're my boss, but we're kind of working together. Okay, we have this relationship. And it's kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But mind you, Huey does not know that she is a super herself that could kill with her mind.
Correct. And that was one of the things that, just seeing him, how shocked he was when he saw that.
Yes.
And I know we're jumping all the way to pretty much almost the end of the episode when that happens. But just the fact that was actually, it's funny how... I have to ask. I mean, I was like, if I wish I could know somebody in the production, I was like, hey, how much of your budget is just buckets of blood, fake blood?
Yeah, exactly. For the fact that the amount that they use.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, it's like it borders on a horror movie at that point with this particular show.
It's just the amount of, like the beginning, like I said, in that party, and then, of course, that fight at the end. Yeah. All of a sudden, it just wasn't like the hand or the face. It was just like the entire body disintegrates.
Yeah. It's very like the claw scene. Not the claw scene, the claw, the girl, when she smacks the guy in the first season's head.
Yes.
Between her legs. Like using him as like a thigh master or something. And
correct. And then there was A-Train when he was going so fast. He I think that's wasn't that Huey's
that was Huey's girlfriend in the first
that
season.
He obliterated.
And all he was left was two hands.
Exactly. So it's like I said, great effects in this show, and this one like I said, just jumping into this season. With this one episode, I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, just all the it definitely brought back, because I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
So I didn't go back and watch the other two seasons. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yes, this is the reason I love this show.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is it's so extreme and so wacky, and the comic itself is just as wacky. They kind of adapted it for the Amazon Prime show. And they've done such a good shot of like just shot, not for shot, but they've had certain scenes that were shot for shot.
Were they? I mean, I never seen. I and it's funny because I did a little visit to my comic book shop today.
Yeah.
And they had the trade paperbacks of the Boys, and I didn't realize how many.
Oh, there are a lot.
There are a lot, and he was telling me that I think this was back in 2007 or something, or 2000, when it first came out. So I didn't realize it was that old, and I didn't realize that they had that many issues out, and So, but he was telling me, it's like, oh yeah, it's been around for a while, and so. I'm finally getting,
caught up
on it. Just like it's the same thing like the Invincible.
Yeah, Invincible's been around for a long time. I actually have
a long time too.
Yeah, I've had that. I have the last 10 issues of the last 10 issues that it came out for Invincible, and when Jamie and I covered that, in the coming weeks, because that's coming back as well. It's been around for such a long time, and oddly enough, that was Robert Kirkman's real first foray into comics other than The Walking Dead.
Right.
He got greenlit for Walking Dead, and then he was doing Invincible, but Invincible ran longer and faster with all its comic issues. And that, by means, if they did that as a live action, if they originally wanted to do it like a live action, they wanted to do it, it would have been so much harder to do. And the budget would have been so crazy. But at least with anime or animation or cartoons, they could easily do it and with the budget as it is, they could do whatever the hell they want.
Oh no, let me tell you, I enjoyed it as an animation because, and it's funny because I seen some reviews on Amazon about it, and there was this one person that gave it a 1 star saying, I can't believe the gratuitous violence and this and that. I was like,
it's not meant for kids. And
it's not meant for kids.
Yeah, Jamie and I both state that before we actually start recording.
Yeah,
because when we did the first season, we said that, and she goes, "This is not for your kids. Do not watch this with your kids."
But it says it in the beginning of the show.
Yes, so. But I people just don't get it. They think that cartoons are cartoons, but yet, we grew up on. Remember with the Wile E. Coyote and
the Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and stuff like that. That was violent
for its time too, but in this case, they show blood.
Listen, not only was it violent, it was also so racist.
Oh, that too. It was a different age, but if you look at what's going on within this particular show, there is a bit of kind of not racism. It's anti-superism or whatever it is.
Right.
Because they're against people who have powers. And these people are not responsible for getting these powers. It's either their parents feeding them some sort of drug, and then they're being isolated by society itself, or being used by the government, as it were, or some company.
Right, exactly.
So it has its own kind of following within itself. And, they don't talk about religion. A lot of it is based upon, politics to some degree. A lot of it has to do with a lot of meta with what's going on in the world as far as media and how they're being used and utilized. And a lot of it is meta in reference to what we deal with today. And I think that's really what everybody is attracted to, because they see realism in what's going on today.
Right.
Now, mind you, if we did really have any superhuman people, forget it.
Well, that was the whole thing. And talking about that, it's interesting how you see Vought, wheeling and dealing with the government and trying to phase out, because Stan is trying to phase out the superheroes.
Yes,
he basically just wants to hey. Here's what they call V24, because they're supposed to only last 24 hours.
Correct.
And and it was so funny how that government person that he was talking to is saying, so you're telling me it lasts 24 hours? I got so many, I got so many soldiers, and so many missions throughout, what is it, in a week, and then in a month. So you could tell this is gonna be like $1 billion that this company will make every month from the government themselves.
Yes.
So and he'd rather do that than playing, babysitter to
a bunch of soups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially, Homelander, who is just a spoiled brat.
Yeah, he is like the extreme, he's like Superman on crack.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Which, I have to say, for a person who's in charge, it's amazing how Stan can get away with what he does. And I'm sure at some point, Homelander is going to probably fry his head off.
Oh, yeah.
But it's that's, and speaking about how bold Stan was, the fact that trying to, put a foothold on him, and he makes Starlight co-captain. And it just, you could see in his face that he is just about to lose his shit.
Yeah. I I feel that too. And honestly, Anthony Starr is doing such a great job as playing Homelander, if you think about it.
Right.
I think he's awesome. The fact that they want to have the deep back of all things in the Seven, and they keep pushing for this. Now, mind you, Starlight, if you look at Erin Moriarty's portrayal of Starlight in this, she feels like a rape victim. Yes. And as we progress, obviously within the next 2 episodes, we see this. He's brought in, and they're kind of prepping him to come back. And they have this whole reality show that they're working on, as we know. And we don't see this until the very end of this particular episode, how they're working it out. And her, from the church school or church group that they all belong to. That she was
from, right.
And somebody she knows is there. And we get that. And it's like, oh, her lover, or
it was like it was because they were young, they were kids, right? First boyfriend, yeah.
And to me, it's like, okay, to her, she's still a little bit innocent, but she's put in this crap show of a world between Homelander is the super psychopath. It's literally Superman on crack. You got rapey Aquaman that's going to be brought back in. And you got A-Train, who can't really do anything. He's just a figure piece, because in the very beginning, him taking that picture with Huey was hilarious.
Right.
I thought that was hilarious to watch. I thought it was funny.
Oh, and when they were doing the red carpet,
the
in
carpet
the beginning,
premiere, it's like, who has thought? Yeah, make a smile. It's like, but mind you, A-Train has no powers at this point. He's just a figure.
Well, he does. Face. He just can't use it
because he blow out his heart.
Right, exactly. He might actually die and stuff, so he can't use it. So he hasn't been it was funny because how he's I guess he has to have 30,000 calories per day.
Yes.
So I guess he eats a lot.
Yeah.
And because he hasn't been running, he's been gaining a little weight. And that's when, again, another part of Homelander where he sees that he's gaining weight.
Yep.
And he grabs him and his eyes start to light up, to probably like almost fry him. And you could see the terror in A-Train's
face,
face and everything. And you say to yourself, man, I mean, this guy really just wants to let loose.
Yep. But
everyone, I mean, A-Train, the way he just, he was horrified right there. He was just terrified at that point.
Yeah.
So it was, A-Train, he's a funny guy. Like, I like his character, but that was just one of those things where you could see it's interesting how this show, it shows, of course, all these characters are based off characters that we already know. Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's kind of the Justice League if they were real people in the real world and having their own issues. Maeve is a lesbian, which a lot of people always made fun of Wonder Woman being as a lesbian.
Correct.
Which would be fine by me. I don't care. She's a Glamazon or Amazon. She could have all the women she wants. She's a beautiful woman and very powerful. Honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it, but apparently there's some sort of shame within this world. Not just in ours, but even in this comic book world. Now, mind you, they think it would devalue her because of Vought. Then on top of that, you got, of all things, Homelander, who's because Vought's in trouble, not in trouble, but very much in charge of the production, the value of these characters, putting it on a lunchbox, put it on a toy, a comic book, some sort of
marketing. It's all about the marketing and how they can make money off of it. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how they have a rating system on these superheroes.
Yep.
And, and of course, Homelander, of course, is, his ratings went down because of Stormfront. And so by partnering him with Starlight as co-captain, who has the highest ratings ever, they think that they can now, try to bring his ratings up in order for them to capitalize off of that.
Yeah, and to me, that it kind of shows true to what we see daily now.
Correct.
If you look on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
everything is a popularity.
TikTok. It's all about popularity, getting your numbers, and making
Correct.
sure you're 100%.
How many likes you get,
Yes.
how many people subscribe, how many people, tune in, all these things, all these matrices, that you get. Listen, man, I mean, if you do a YouTube video, you could see through YouTube who has watched it, for how long has watched it, in what country it was watched, and what device it was watched, all these things. And, so that's the world we live in now.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like this is exactly the same thing. But like I was saying, it's like, so since these characters are so familiar to us, we keep thinking, it's like, because I'm sure we have always said, what if Superman was to lose control? What if, yeah, exactly. What if Flash, all of a sudden, like all these characters just became the opposite of who they portray in the comic books. And that's what The Boys does very well. I mean, it just shows, hey, okay, this is what happens when you have...
We kind of got that if you were brought up the wrong way, or you were brought up to a point with the movie Brightburn, if you remember it. And you and I spoke about this at work.
Yeah.
And we talked about it in length. And actually, Steve and I had covered Brightburn when it first came out. And it's literally, what if Superman was brought up and he was bad? Now
he was just a bad kid, no matter how because, let's be honest, you could have a family of 5. All of them turned out well, but there's always that one kid that turns out bad.
Yeah. And
then no matter what you do, and no matter how much you try to, instill your beliefs and have him become a good person, he still becomes a bad kid. He's just a rotten little kid. So that Brightburn was the same thing. It was like, no matter how good his parents were, he was just fucked up.
Yeah, literally. To continue on, there was like a couple of other scenes that I liked. One was with Mother's Milk when he goes to his kid's birthday party. Now, we know that he's separated from his wife and his kids. There's somebody there, I think, was it the director of the film that was with his ex-wife?
It could be. I don't know.
I forgot.
It seems like that's what it was. I mean, I forgot too. They just look familiar.
They just looked so familiar, and I'm like, was that the same one that was plugging Ashley in the bathroom? And I'm like, and on top of that, he's dressed as Homelander, kind of all geeky like with his 4 eyes with the glasses,
right.
And it's a whole soup thing, and you could see in Mother's Milk's face how he is, and he's like, I don't want to be here. But you see his OCD when he's fixing out all the cakes and stuff like that.
And he's doing the plasticware. He's just putting it
everything meticulously, accordingly for every setting, and it was very true to who he is.
Right.
And I think at the very end we figure out it's like he's back with the boys. So I'm glad that we got an introduction for each. Not only did we get that with Kimiko and Frenchie.
Right.
And then we got Butcher back involved. We also get Huey coming back as well. But, Butcher playing the typical using the C word constantly. And and they have to listen to Huey at this point. And they're taking orders from Huey. And you can see it's like Butcher is like biting his tongue every time. Those scenes to me were the best that we get. Now, mind you, listeners, this is not a regular typical top 5, but we're just talking out of context. It's a little bit out of format. Steve's away, so boys will be at play. So that's what Rob and I are doing for now. We'll get back to regular format at a certain point because apparently I watched the wrong episode because I watched all 3. So
I did the same thing. As a matter of fact, I had like one of the quotes that we were going to do. I had it from episode 2, and when I watched it again, I was like, "Wait, that quote's not in there."
So I know, right? So this is like kind of a free form idea, throwing out our top feelings of or scenes that we see and what we're looking at. I'm also live Steving it as we're talking, so I have it right in front of me as I'm watching and looking at Rob, but I'm remembering every instance. The knee jumping from Butcher as everybody else is talking about Huey and how he doesn't want to deal with the situation. Yeah. All those things that are starting to build up. He still has that relationship with his wife's kid. It's not his kid. It's Homelander's kid.
It's Homelander, yeah.
Yes.
And he's trying to be the father figure, which I found that very interesting. He's like, all right, he's trying to be this.
But
he's
that's a
trying to make sure
testament
this
to his old wife because he loved her so much. But he also has that video of Homelander when Homelander was killing those people on the airplane.
Yeah.
And he's got that in his head too, and it's like kind of burning a hole in his head, and he has to deal with the fact that, okay, this is not my kid, but he's a part of my wife. You know, it's her child, but I loved her, and that there's a part of her in there, and then yes, I have to take care of this kid. And
he's unhinged too in his own way, but like I said, you know, he's trying to be that good father figure because he knows if he lets Homelander, you know, raise this kid is just going to be another version of Homelander, you know. So yeah, no, interesting. I also find that one of the things that I found interesting is the fact that, hey, you know, they're trying to now search for Soldier Boy or what killed him, because they figured, I didn't know that Soldier Boy was as powerful as Homelander.
Same here. I didn't get that either. I didn't understand.
But they made it seem like that's what it was, and that whatever killed him can kill Homelander. So that's also interesting to see, and how they're going to actually, you know, how this is going to unfold, you know, within the next few episodes or throughout the entire season, to see how that's going to, you know, what's going to happen and how they actually figure that out. So I thought that was a very cool thing that they put in there.
Yeah. And who else is in this? Forgetting his name. He was in Breaking Bad. He's also
Juan Carlos Esposito.
Yeah, Juan Carlos Esposito is being part of the head of Vought.
Yeah, as Stan. His name is Stan something.
Yeah. So Stan getting involved, and you could tell his disposition with being in charge of these people.
Right. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he just seems like he wants to get rid of these superheroes because he wants a company to be a pharmaceutical company and a government agency or something like that.
Or a government supplier for these drugs.
Or a contractor or something like that, right.
Yeah, and he feels like he's babysitting these soups all the time, and it's not the best thing that's meant for this particular company. Yeah, right. He's a company man. He's one of those people that think of money. He's not there to babysit any of these people. And on top of that, the fact of the way it's been exploited all this time. Now, mind you, that was because of the person that was before him, which was Elizabeth Shue.
Right.
And as we all know, died. She's gone, and that was done due to Homelander. And last season we had that whole thing with Homelander sucking on a guy's boob that looked like her because he was a chameleon, and it was
exactly
wacky
that
thing.
Was again, you know, it's the way this show goes. Every time you think they could not top what they did before, the next thing you know, you either watch the next episode, or in this case, next season comes up, and you go, "Oh, okay, they really are. They're not holding back at all this time."
Well, I think this had to delay due to COVID because of the filming and everything they had to do, plus the writing. They had to make it work, and for them to make it work, I had to be in close quarters. Honestly, it's one of those particular shows that had to have the delicacies within it. We had to be very delicate in how we portrayed and how we created this. So you can do anything from distances. You literally had to be up and close with these particular characters, these particular actors. And on top of that, you know, it's like, and we got more investigative with some of them, especially like with the Deep and his book Deeper, and him and his crazy wife at that point coming out of their quote unquote Scientology life, as it were.
Right.
And him being unfolded, and then it's kind of thrown under the carpet a little bit for the first episode. But they kind of concentrate on a reality show with the next 7 character that they could pull from this reality show. People that are supers. Now, we touched on it a little bit. One of them we mentioned was Starlight's old boyfriend that she lost her virginity to, and then there was other people that have powers because Vought usually, you know, as we knew from the first 2 seasons, they actually had stuff out there where people got their powers from, like cereal
Right.
or whatnot.
Yeah, they somehow secretly put, this formula out there, that compound V, I guess is what they call it.
Yep.
And there are a whole bunch of supers out there that are, that are just starting to like all of a sudden show up.
Yeah, and now you could audition depending on your power.
Right.
So I guess Frogman at this point is not one of those because nobody wants a guy with big eyes and flippers in their hands. But they get the most people that are appealing to the public, kind of like a boy band. And
well, it's the whole,
Yeah.
it's the whole thing, like, because again, it's a reality show, and just like every reality show out there, when you watch, what is it, like, Who Wants to Be, I don't know, what
The
is
Bachelor?
it? A Bachelor, America's Top Model, it's always about these beautiful people that are
Yeah.
on screen. And let's be honest, reality shows are not really reality shows. They're still scripted. But
correct.
the point is that this is just another way of showing, hey, if we had, superheroes, this is exactly how it would be too. Let's get the beautiful superheroes on the screen, and then I'm sure they're going to vote them into whatever, contents they're, how they win is by voting on the one that's either more good looking or whatever, the one that fits the profile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not going to see the Jersey Shore of these people. At this point.
Exactly. What a show that was. Oh man. You just brought some bad memories up.
Yeah, well, no, they're trying to make it. They're trying to come back.
Oh God, no. So yeah, so no, I thought that was good. And then, like I said, Butcher, like when Maeve gave Butcher the V24 capsules, you could tell, because I remember Stan said, well, it's still being tested. But you could tell they're like, oh, it's supposed to be temporary. After 24 hours, no side effects, nothing like that. And when he said that, I was like, sure.
Sure, right.
What? Why does that sound like it's a bunch of bullshit?
You might have some burning when you're urinating, but it's okay.
It's okay, right? But no, it's like, it's one of those things where you could see that Butcher, he was about to throw it out, and then he
tossed it in the cookie jar for the dog.
In the cookie jar, and I'm saying to myself, yeah, not only is he going to take it, and of course, I think we all know he will, because I think the coming attractions and
Yeah, they
the
show
trailers
it.
show him,
Yeah.
yeah. But what the consequences on that are, is going to be, what's going to happen to Butcher after he takes that?
I think he goes to true Homelander at that point.
Probably.
He
probably
my
will,
feeling
yeah.
is that you're going to see Homelander on Homelander. You're going to see
Right.
a Homelander that is pristine, pretty, Nazi, blonde hair, blue eyed. Then you're going to have Billy Butcher using every C, F word, S word, everything. He's going to be expletive deleted everywhere.
No, right.
As he's shooting out everything at
He's
him.
going to be he's going to be the crude most I can't wait to see what happens when he finally takes it. So that's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be very interesting, and how he has to hide it from his friends. The one topic that we didn't really get onto, which we only topped on it for a little bit, was about Stormfront herself. We do see her. She is alive. She is in the hospital within this particular episode. She's
Correct.
burned, scarred. She has, no arm?
She's missing an arm. She's missing her right arm.
And a leg or two or something.
I'm not sure about, you're right, but then she has like half her face seems to be
Burnt
burnt
away.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we get the whole Homelander coming in, talking to her. And as he's talking to her, he's making the whole conversation about him.
Yeah.
Not about her. About him.
Exactly.
About, I need this love and attention, and it was her birthday, and he made it all about himself.
Right. It's me. And
Me. And, I love you. You're so great. Blah, blah, blah. And he walks out. And she goes like, huh? And, I was like, I guess the Nazi regime didn't really come in her favor, too, because nobody came to her side in the hospital.
Exactly. No, exactly. Well, I mean, does the public know? I guess the public does know that she's still alive.
Well, they don't. I guess they sort of know that she's still alive, but the fact that they don't know that she's trying to, secretly giving Homelander a hand job with that one left hand. And the fact that it's not even working for them. Oh my goodness. It's like, it's all about him. I feel so bad for her, even though she's crazy, she's corrupted, she's a Nazi, but it's like everything is all about him. And he's like, oh, I can't finish, whatever, see you, bye-bye. And then he walks out.
Well, yeah, and it's because, of course, she's talking about, him, still, trying to, come up with the Aryan nation and trying to, make sure that, like the whole Nazi thing. And he's like, no, why do we keep talking about that?
Well,
so
you saw his distaste for it too in the very beginning during the movie. Because he kind of winced when it was brought up, when he was doing his lines towards Charlize Theron as Stormfront. And it's like, oh, okay. But
I think Homeland, so when I see it, I think Homelander is not a Nazi in that way.
No.
I think it's more he sees the entire human race
bowing to him
as just beneath him.
Yes.
Everybody is worthless to him.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what race you're from. It doesn't, to him, everybody, and that's what I see from him, because he's like, oh no, I'm not a Nazi, or I don't want to play that. But for him, it's like, no, it's not that I, it's not that I just hate, Jews, blacks, all that. No, I hate everybody. Everyone.
Because I'm not even a real human. Yeah, at this point, it's very much like if you think Invincible.
Yes.
Yeah, think about the father in Invincible.
Yeah, no, exactly. He in the beginning, he puts a good, front, but in the end, he just sees as the human race as, whatever. I forgot, I got to go back to watching Invincible again, but I forgot. I think it was just to harvest Earth or something like that?
Yeah, it was literally to harvest Earth and get rid of it and just use Earth for a resource. Right. And humans were, conceived or thought of by the Viltrumite as pawns for their own needs. Now, mind you, he winds up having a child with a human.
Exactly.
But that was to extend his seed into that world. And that's how we get Invincible.
Right. So, and we get the same thing in the way with Homelander, where it's like he just sees the world as just people that should be bowing to him.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, it's all about him, but it's just I don't see him as the Nazi that she wants him to be.
No.
I see him as just somebody that feels that he's like a god and everybody should be just, catering to him. And she doesn't see that. All she sees is, hey, it's the Aryan nation, or it's, if we have kids, they're going to be beautiful and powerful and perfect.
Yeah, all right, well, let's skip ahead because we already know what's coming to head. There was already a scene that we kind of talked about slightly. Homelander and Butcher themselves, a confrontation with Butcher and Homelander in Butcher's apartment. So about the boy.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. So like you said, we kind of strayed from the format here.
Yeah.
And one of the top fives that I was going to do on my takeaways on that was that part right there. Homelander having a conversation with Butcher in his house. And the question I keep asking is, was it real or something Butcher
made up
imagined?
In his mind? Yeah. I think it was real. I do think it was real because it seems to me that Homelander is so much attached to that kid that he will seek out Butcher no matter where he is. Try to have that relation with the kid because he can't even get to that kid because nobody would tell him where he is. So it's like Butcher, even though as much as he hates Butcher, it's the extension that he has to that kid.
Right.
And
I don't know because here's an interesting thing that I think the filmmakers did. It was that while he's sitting there and they're both talking to each other, Butcher all of a sudden looks over to the cookie jar. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's just a slight look. And then he looks forward and there's no Homelander.
Yeah, he's gone because
And
he flew out the window.
Right, and you don't hear him fly out the window. You don't hear him like a whoosh or something like that. It's just nothing.
Nothing there.
And it's nothing there. So, and you know how, with other, superhero shows and stuff like that, if somebody's going to fly very quickly or leave the room very quickly, there's some kind of sound effect.
Yeah.
Or some kind of effect where you see wind or things moving because of the, how fast the person left.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it was he just seemed to disappear. But you're wondering, okay, was it real or was it not real?
Or was it all in Butcher's head, is like you think?
Right,
Okay.
exactly. Was it in his head? Was it like he's just that fucked up in his head that he's having this conversation with him? And I was like, that's... At first, I thought it was real.
Yeah.
But then that little part in the end where all he did was slightly look to the right, and then he looked forward, and he was gone. And to Butcher, it wasn't like, he left or something like that. Butcher just kind of carried on with the same facial expression that he had.
Yes.
So I'm like, was it so it'd be interesting to see in the next few episodes, if that happens again, whether it was an imaginary thing, or was it a thing where, Homelander does give him a few visits once in a while.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that was really interesting on that one.
Well, next up would be Huey on his way out of the FBSA. He's leaving the offices.
Mm-hmm.
And he's following, Victoria Newman. And he's following the same guy that was calling out, Nadia, Nadia.
Yeah, his guy name is Tony or something like that.
Yeah, his name is Tony. And he follows her to the street, down the alley, down behind. And there's this whole encounter between Victoria Newman / Nadia and this guy, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this whole thing. She hugs him. And then next thing you know, she basically destroys the crap out of him. And apparently he has superpowers as well.
Correct.
So,
and they mention, so Tony, mentions Red River.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he wants to expose that, and she does not, but then she tried to trick him and say, okay, sure, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting when he was attacking her, she blows up his hand.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be the end of it.
Same here. But no, she blows up his whole face.
She blows up the bottom part of his face, which he's laying there with no jaw, this gaping wound and no eye. I was like, my God, man, these guys are just these filmmakers are just really going for it.
Oh yeah.
And then she just blows him up, and it's just this mist of blood.
It's a
everywhere.
splatter of blood and flesh all over the place. And Huey's behind the dumpster screaming his head off like a little girl.
Yeah.
And it's raining men. Hallelujah.
Which is his first, right, exactly. Exactly. But you could, because Huey didn't know that she has superpowers, but now that he does, it's like,
yeah,
that shock, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck, so
exactly.
And the next two episodes will pretty much show the what happens because of that. But yeah, very cool scene, and all of a sudden she calls somebody. She's like, hey, I need a cleanup crew.
Yeah, that's the one weird thing is it's kind of like damage control from Marvel. It's like, hey, we need a cleanup crew right now. Instead of a whole city, it's going to be just this one person. Get a mop and a bucket. Get Charlie over here.
Yeah, it's the whole John Wick, come in, clean up the house.
Oh,
and
the
then
whole
here's
from Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man, I haven't seen that movie in a long time. It's such a great movie.
Oh yeah, same here. It's one of those cool movies I have to watch every once in a while. But Keitel as who he is,
he's awesome. He's awesome.
All right, I think we covered this hugely within this particular episode. It's pretty funny.
No, let me tell you, it was a great episode to start with. Really left you,
wanting more,
right? You just you were craving more. You're like, okay. And again, Amazon did the great thing, which is they released 3 episodes. Although here's a question:
Mm-hmm.
when they release seasons 1 and 2, did they release it per episode, or did they release the entire season?
I remember the first season being the whole season.
Right?
And then when it came to season 2, they did just as they did this time. They presented the first 3, and then after that, it was episode by episode after that.
Right.
So we get the first 3, so it's a big, huge teaser. Just like with Netflix with Stranger Things. So
right.
Rima and Paik have a hard time because it's over an hour every episode for them to cover on Strange Indeed on Podcastica Network.
Right.
But with us, we do everything episodically, regardless, because, you know, it's very hard just to jump into like, oh, we're going to do all 3. When we did the first season, we did it as a whole because we jumped in. I watched everything all at once. Steve watched everything all at once. So we decided after that was like, well, we'll do it episodically. And I've been doing that since, very much similar to with Invincible. Because with Invincible, you want to watch everything and they drop the whole thing in one shot.
Right.
So we try to do it episodically. And
it's interesting how it's funny because everybody was always like, hey, you know, did you watch this on Netflix? And of course, you could watch the entire season.
Yes.
And then Disney Plus, I think, was the one that really did it, especially with The Mandalorian, which was like, shit, now it's every week.
Yeah.
So it left you wanting to come back every week. And I think all the streaming services have started learning.
Following suit with it. Yeah. And it makes more sense. I think what they try to do with Amazon is give you the taste. Here's a taste of what you need to. We have the first 3 episodes. Well, we might have 12 episodes total, but here's the first 3. You got to wait for the other 9 per week after this.
Exactly.
So grab your kids if it's a family event. I don't know why anybody would make The Boys a family event, but what have you. Same thing with Invincible. Some people do it with Netflix. And
exactly. It's a great show.
Rima even says it when they were doing with when they did Dexter New Blood. She said she was grateful for the fact that they were doing it weekly.
Right.
Because it was HBO Max. They kind of dropped everything. Not everything, but they dropped the first episode. And then you were like, awesome. So you would have to fight for that time to get there per week. Like a regular episodic show on regular TV. That we're so
I think
used
Netflix
to.
is going to start. Yeah, Netflix, I think, is going to start doing the same thing because, again, you know, we were always used to seeing something episodic every week, and we would talk about it every week. But Netflix came around and said, "Hey, here's the whole season." And what do? We'll talk about it. We come back to work and we're like, "Hey, did you see the entire season of this?"
And
so
some people wouldn't, and then some people would, and then you get to the point where it's like, "All right, well, what's there to talk about now?"
Exactly. Not only that, but it was so forgettable because you're like, all right, I watched this entire season that was, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. I'm already forgetting about it.
I'm on to the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's more like, hey, now we're doing episodic where it keeps you thinking about the show week after week. And I think they did that. They did really well with Mandalorian doing that.
Yeah.
I think they did. I think all the Disney shows doing that actually, you know, I remember coming back to work every week and we would talk about the latest episode, you know, and that was the whole thing, you know. It took me back to the days of X-Files when X-Files was first came out, which was such a great phenomenon. And you hear everybody at work is like, dude,
talk.
Did you watch the latest X-File? And did you see this? I can't wait for the next one and this and that. And it was just like, and of course, back then there used to be, you know, like 24 to 26 episodes in a season. And it was, you know, it was a lot, but you know, it kept you talking about it throughout the entire year. And then you got to wait 2 months. Which was nothing. Now, you know, you do an entire season, like Netflix would do an entire thing. And now you're waiting an entire year.
Yeah.
And you kind of forget about it. And until it comes back and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Now I got to go back and watch to see what happens because I don't remember it. Of course, because you saw it all in one shot, and then you have the entire rest of the year to forget about it. But the way they're doing it now, I think it's great. Where that, you know, it's every week. It keeps you, keeps you looking forward to, watching something. So so this is actually very good. I mean, definitely great on that.
All right. Awesome. Yeah.
Did you want to do the quotes? Because I had some good quotes.
If you want to do quotes, go ahead. I don't have any. So if you
don't have any, let me. It's funny because there was a few of them that I liked. In the beginning when they were in the movie, that was like, guess this means we're breaking up, you Nazi bitch. It was just he said it so heroically, and. And when you were talking about A-Train, that he was taking a picture on the red carpet.
Yeah.
And he goes, who you wearing? And he goes, I have no idea. So good. I don't give a fuck.
I remember that.
Oh, man. And then Huey and Nadia would also like we were talking about like when they, how close they are and stuff like that. And when they're having lunch all the time. And she goes, you love that bagel so much, you're going to fake herpes. And then when she takes a bite out of it, she goes, oh my God, so worth the herpes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. And then what was the other one? We don't need a master race. I am the master race.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Oh, my God. There's so many good ones in this.
Yeah, there was a few good ones. And then the other one I had, like, I ain't banged the blue. Oh, this was Butcher saying to his boss. What's the lady's name? The one that's taking care of.
I forgot her name.
I forgot her name, but he goes, I ain't banged the blue hair since I was a lad. And then she goes, calling you an asshole is an insult to all assholes. Oh, man. So, yeah, they had a few good ones in there that I was like, okay, especially Butcher, because he has that very heavy. Is he supposed to be English?
Billy is definitely English. Even though Carl Urban is a New Zealander, he's a Kiwi.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess he's whoever the writer of the show is very good, I guess. And I don't know, maybe somebody out there will be able to send in an email or something on this or whatever, or get in contact with you. But is everything Butcher's saying slang that is
true to English?
That's true to English.
Yeah,
because
I've been told by my friend, the other Mark Kirkman, that lives in London or Essex,
right.
England, and he works in London. He had told me, he goes, bro, yeah, it is.
Oh yeah,
yeah, very Cockney as it is. He goes, that sounds like East End, London.
Oh wow, okay.
But
yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, there are times that like I have to put on the closed caption because I'm like, what the fuck did he just?
Yeah, it's
and I have to go back and read it.
It's literally, it's like if you grew up in a hood in London, that's what it would sound like.
Yeah,
but a lot of nowadays it would be bruv. What says? Yeah, like and brother, okay. Bruv, hey bruv.
Right.
Yeah, stuff like that, and or kind of Ted Lasso-ish, where it's like, fuck no, fuck. Yeah, and in Butcher's case, it's always cunt this, cunt that, and there was actually an issue too, and I'm sorry if people are offended that are listening if I'm using the C word all the time, just then. But the thing is that was a constant thing. And it still is a constant thing. So it's not to be taken harshly by a woman if you're if you call a guy the C word or cunt or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It's just, honestly, it's just their way of how they talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much like how my family, when I would work with them in construction and I'd be like, hey, asshole, get over here. And I'm like, you talking to me? No, the other asshole. I'm like, oh, okay. So to me, it's like, okay. Yeah, it's just how they talk. So
hey, listen, I grew up in the Bronx, and we all use the N-word so much, and it was never towards a thing where
derogatory
like
term.
No, it's like everybody was everybody. You called everybody
whether
the N-word.
Whether you were white, Hispanic. Black,
didn't matter.
Asian,
female, male, baby,
anybody. I know.
My grandmother. I don't care. It was just one of those things that it was done, and I understand that people nowadays get offended because it's a very offensive word. But yeah, like you were saying, using that C word over there, it's more like just a slang as opposed to anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up, because his way of his dialogue, I was like, is it? I mean, he's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
At with the slang and everything, but I was just wondering if he was. I was wondering if he was English and it just came off that easy. But
Nah.
I guess Urban is just a great actor.
No, he's New Zealand. He's from New Zealand,
Right.
so he actually got his start of all things on Hercules and Xena.
Did he really?
Yes.
Holy shit!
He played Aphrodite's son in a Xena episode. So he was kind of pretty faced with the hair and everything else too.
It's funny how I've seen a lot of movies and I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize he was in that. Everything from he did one of the Reddick, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel. That was, I got tongue tied there. The Vin Diesel Reddick movies.
Yep.
He was also in one of those. In one of the Bourne movies he was also in, so like so many movies out there that he's in, and you're like, holy shit,
he's very versatile.
I completely forgot that he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, he was. Actually, I think my friend Anwen probably was on set with him for Lord of the Rings.
Oh, probably. Okay.
Because she's a New Zealander herself, so she actually was an extra. So I know she was behind Viggo Mortensen at one point in a scene, which is pretty funny. But yeah, it's New Zealand is very popular for that. Ash versus the Evil Dead was filmed there, as well as Hercules, Xena, and actually that's where a lot of the filming companies have been going lately. Because you got Peter Jackson that was involved with the Rings movies as well as The Hobbit, and then now with the new Rings TV show that we're going to be getting. And
that's being done in New Zealand also?
I believe so. So there's a lot more going on. So, but we got some great actors from New Zealand. We got Lucy Lawless from there. We got Carl Urban, a whole bunch of them. But, I would think that he went to a dialect coach and he probably buddied up with somebody who was on tour with Iron Maiden or Motorhead and got used to the idea. Because if you hung around Lemmy Kilmister back in the day, and I met the man 3 times, he was yelling in my ear because he's deaf. Every time I met him and he thought I was in the band that was opening up for him. Every time I saw him at the bar. But talking to the man, I got used to that because he could call me the C word every once in a while. Let me, hey, cunt, give me this. All right. Well, it's like, I need a Sharpie. I need a light. Where's my light? I was like, all right, here you go.
There you go.
But,
thank you for calling me a cunt.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that you would think that he'd been around a lot of English actors, English people on set over the years of, Carl Urban's been working for almost more than like 28 years.
Wow.
I would say. Right. And so he's got the experience of being around multiple people. He could do probably an American accent with no problem. We've already seen that in Dread. Come on.
I mean, you saw it in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, Bones.
Bones.
He was the whitest of white people in that particular show or movie.
When he started talking and he sounded just like the real Bones from the original series, I was like, holy shit, he's the only one out of all the characters there
that reminded you of the original series characters.
Correct.
Or actors.
I mean, because Zachary Quinto, of course, was playing, Spock, and you're like, all right, and he hung around with Leonard Nimoy, to I'm sure to get tips and stuff like that. But everybody else just seemed to be doing
their own thing.
Yeah. Urban was like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna embody, McCoy, the real McCoy. So.
Exactly. All right. Well, you got your quotes. We'll bypass feedback because we didn't really get much feedback. I threw an image up there, ladies and gentlemen, the night before we started recording, unfortunately. Nobody sent any email, nobody sent any comments, but if we do get any regarding this particular episode, we'll actually talk about them in the next episode when we record. Podcast recommendations. Do you have anything that you could recommend Rob, that you've been listening to recently?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always listening to a lot of podcasts. I mean, so much now, so that I barely, listen to music now. But, but there's a few that I was thinking about. So one of them, because of course I started getting back into comic books, and it's actually a really, really good podcast. Is Variant the Podcast. These two gentlemen, they cover, just like us, they cover pop culture. They cover anything that's, geek fandom, anything like that. But they also cover, a lot of, what's coming out in comic books, and, and they really get into it. I mean, just like anybody else, just like us, that we are big fans of these things. They actually, do a good job on that. I also like to listen to Star Talk, which is with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, cool.
So it's not only does he talk about science, but he also has always a comedian on the podcast. And, so it makes talking about science fun. And actually, you laugh your ass off a lot, with that. But I met Neil deGrasse Tyson one time in person. One of the nicest people that you will ever meet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just such a great person, such a great gentleman on that. The other one I'd like to listen to is the Soundtrack Show. It's with David W. Collins. He was actually a sound designer for LucasArts, and he's been doing some stuff for Lucas. But he is a big John Williams fan, but he also just loves film music. And if you could ever get a chance to listen to that, highly recommend it, especially if you are a lover of film music. He really gets into almost music theory when it comes to the theme. So he'll break down, like, let's say the Star Wars soundtrack, and he tells you all these little things that are happening within the music itself.
Oh,
and
yeah.
What does it mean, and all these things. And he is a phenomenal sound designer. So he listens to it, and you learn a lot from that. I mean, I have learned so much from all these soundtracks, and every time now I watch these movies, I remember what he says. And of course, everybody I'm sure listens to, Fat Man Beyond with Kevin Smith, so
Yeah.
That's always fun. What do you like?
Lately I've been listening to, of all things, I would say TV podcast industries, our friends out there, out in Ireland. So we got
cool.
Derek John and his crew when they talk about anything Marvel related. So they were covering Moon Knight just as well as we did, Steve and I. But they continue it a little bit further with the Disney Plus stuff with Assembled, the making of Moon Knight that just came out recently. They're kind of on a break, but as soon as the new shows come out, like She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, everything else, they're going to be in competition of what we're doing as well.
Right.
Other than that would be Disgraceland that you can find on Amazon Music, which is amazing too, because he goes into the dark depths of Hollywood of people that have passed away or some interesting things.
Interesting.
So the most recent episode that I got to listen to was about Judy Garland and her issues with pill addiction and how she passed away, certain events that happened within her life. That was an interesting listen, as well as so many others. Jenna Elfman and Bodhi have their own particular podcast, like every celebrity couple does. I listen to them. So it's usually, it's Elfman on Elfman if you think about it, but it's just two people who are married just like griping to each other, which I do enjoy, but it's pretty funny to listen to. The next would be Did You Get My Text? With Patton Oswalt and Meredith Salinger. And Meredith and him are perfect. They just have a good time together, and just to hear their banter about common things and what they like normally and how things are misread in their Twitters. If you think about it, I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome.
Next up for YouTube recommendations, well, I don't have the official site, but you could go to every one of these people. You could go to Malfunction. You could go to the Grim Life Collective. You could go to Adam the Woo or Scott on Tape. Now, mind you, all four YouTubers have been on each other's YouTube channel. And Sean Clark himself, who does Malfunction, had put together kind of like a dinner of 5, but in this case a dinner of 4, with all 4 YouTubers together and talking about their adventures in YouTubing. So I suggest it highly. I thought it was funny because it just kind of reminded me of Jon Favreau's show that you used to have on HBO or Showtime at that point, when he had a bunch of celebrity guests. But in this case, Sean has done this with all 4 YouTubers themselves. And nice. Then guesting, having things. It's like, hey, have you been ever arrested being on a film set? Have you been asked to leave? What was your most weird experience? And then going to see them on each other's channel, because they've been pretty much jumping into each other's channel and doing a group thing of like the celebrity. If you go to the cemeteries that are out in California for celebrities, they go there and they look at a few people's gravestones and they talk about their experiences of meeting them in life or things that they've encountered or what they knew, which is kind of trivia based upon these people and showing a lot of respect to those particular actors.
Cool.
So I had a good time. I love watching them. So think, as your takeaways, listeners, Adam the Woo, Malfunction, or The Thing with Two Heads, that's another podcast, or Scott on Tape, or the Grim Life Collective, who we all know Michael and Jessica from.
Right. On my side, I like to watch. There's this one YouTube channel that I like a lot called the Corridor Crew. The Corridor Crew is actually a visual effects company, but they do YouTube videos and they analyze stunts in movies. They analyze, visual effects from other movies, and it is a fun. And this is not like a geeky, or very technical. They can get there.
Yeah.
But they do so many things that are fun that it makes me want to just go over there and apply to their, listen, I'll be a janitor here because you guys seem to have fun on everything you guys do.
Yeah, I just want to hang around. I'll mop the floor in the background and I'll say something from the side. Hey, how you doing?
But they seem to have, they always have these challenges that they do with each other. It's like, hey, can we remake let's say a visual effect that was done, 20 years ago nowadays? And back then, of course, it took, an entire building of Cray computers, trying to, crunch numbers to do this effect when now you could do it through an iPhone, that kind of thing. So,
or very much like a volcano. Actually, I'm forgetting which Japanese director had done it, but they recreated it later on in years. It was a volcano erupting, but they did it in water. And the way they were able to do this was take a bunch of different liquid charcoal and dump it in water, but it would be filmed upside down to show, and then it would implement it on and put it over a matte screen.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And they do that, and that's the way they were able to get these kind of effects, because you can't have access to a volcano, obviously. And back then, in the 60s, really, we didn't have visual effects the way that they are today.
Exactly. So, so they do the same thing. They always have actually guests on. So, like, either stunt people that worked in real movies. We're talking about, like, the Marvel movies or any of the Star Wars films. They talk to... They've had Adam Savage come on their show.
Oh, cool.
They really, really get some really good people. They've had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jon Favreau. Like I said, they get all kinds of people on their show, and they sometimes sit in front of a couch and they just watch these things. And as a matter of fact, the last one I just watched, they were actually making fun of Transformers, because as much as they loved the effects for Transformers, they caught this one little mistake. And they went over it, and one of them was saying, no, but that's because that's a YouTube stream. So they went ahead and they bought the actual, Amazon stream and stuff like that. It's like, oh my God, it is really a mistake. So it's really funny to actually see.
Honestly, it's a human thing. You have to realize movies are made by humans. It's not 100% perfect. If it was 100% perfect,
so
we wouldn't be human.
Exactly. And the other ones, the other two actually I already mentioned through through podcasts, which they also have their their YouTube videos. So Variant the podcast has one called Variant Nation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost the same thing, but they also have other episodes that they just do for YouTube. And they'll talk about comic books. They'll talk about, hey, let's talk about this one character, like Superman, and and how strong is Superman and his weaknesses. So they go through that. There's actually a kid named Eris Quinones or something like that. He does a really good job on that. Nerdist.com, of course, everybody I'm sure is familiar with Nerdist.com. So I love watching that, the YouTube videos on that. Get a lot of insight on things that I didn't even know. And of course, Fat Man Beyond, which his podcast and the YouTube video are basically the same thing.
They are. Yeah. It's literally Kevin and Mark doing their thing all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I got a ton more, but I mean, it would take way too long to list them. But yeah, those are like the 4 I recommend right now.
All right, cool. All right. Well, with that, to submit your feedback for this particular podcast, we can be heard on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player of choice that you have. And obviously, you're hearing us there, so please suggest a friend. That's the best way for us to get around these days. So if our ratings are available for those platforms, preferably Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating if so, and just be honest. Be very appreciative. You can check out our website, which would be panelstopixelspodcast.com. Still under construction, obviously, and I already mentioned this before. Will be done by the end of July. With there, you'd be able to get all the regular feeds. You could actually attach it and send it to other people if need be. You could reach us at facebook.com, so that's the best place to get us, facebook.com/panelstopixels. Literally, I put the image up the night before we started recording this. So we did the wallpaper, we did the image, and for you to send in feedback. But if you want to send feedback for this particular episode, just send it and then we'll read it, play it on the next podcast. And like I said, all you have to do is send your email to panelstopixels1@gmail.com. That's panels, 2 is spelled out T-O, pixels, and the number 1@gmail.com. You could write out a regular texted email, or you could record your voice and send it as an attachment. We'll play it. We'll comment as we're listening as well. And if you send the email, we just as your Facebook comments, we will read them as well as, while we're actually on the podcast. You could send us on Twitter as well. So we're on Twitter at panels2pixels, at panels and the number 2 pixels. So you could check us out there. We are on YouTube, so you could find us on YouTube, and all you have to do is search Panels to Pixels Podcast. And just please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. If you just search for Panels to Pixels, you get Josh from England. And he does everything based upon Marvel and everything else, and we love Josh, but we're Panels to Pixels Podcast, so do that in your search, and just subscribe and like. We are on Instagram at Panels to Pixels Podcast, spelled out just as is. So with that, check out all the other podcasts on the Next Level Online Podcast Radio Network. We highly recommend them all, but especially Wilhelm, The Melting Pat, Podcast Zero, as well as Panels to Pixels Podcast. So all you have to do is go to nextlevelradioonline.com and check us out there. Wilhelm, I believe that Ben has a few interviews set up, so check them out. The voice actor from Red Dead Redemption will be up by the time this is up. So check out Ben's interview with him. And
that should be exciting.
Yeah. So coming up next week, obviously, we'll be continuing our coverage of The Boys Season 3. And that will happen on next episode. Following that will be our 200th episode. So fingers crossed on our celebrity guest that will be on for that.
Congratulations on that 200 episodes. That's a great milestone.
Yeah, it's almost 5 years. If not, maybe a little bit longer. I'm thinking it's more than 5 years at this point.
Wow.
But
no, hey, great. That's awesome.
We've been doing this, but that's thanks to the one Steve Brown himself, who's doing 2 episodes per month, or a week, I should say, not month. 2 episodes a week for at least 6 months without me by his side. So now we're going to be tripling that with all the other content we're getting. So we might be pulling from our friends to be on those particular episodes so we could get 3 episodes a week, which is going to be scary. We'll be busy bees.
That's a full-time job.
It is a full-time job. My body will be killing me, and so will my brain. All right, so where else can listeners hear you, Rob?
You can listen to me in Fantasy Picks Movie Edition. So we are on all the podcasting, devices or apps out there. So yeah, come and listen to us. We have fun with trying to analyze not bad movies. I would say overhyped movies that didn't make it in the box office or critically, and so we analyze it, and then of course, as the title says, we do our own fantasy picks, whether it's cast or director or story to make it better. So yeah, we play filmmakers, even though we're not. So
well, you play the what if I could change this movie to something I like.
Exactly.
So if we could change the actor, change the script, maybe change the music a little bit. And
exactly.
And
make
director,
it a little better.
Make it a little bit. It's
exactly.
like we didn't need Jerry Bruckheimer. We just get the other guy to do it. I've been on that particular podcast too, and I enjoy it. It's fun.
As a matter of fact, I just released part 2 of the last one that we did, which was Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Probably one of our best episodes. We had so much fun in that episode. I don't think we've ever laughed as much as as we did on that. But yeah, fun. But catch us if you can.
That was thankful to Zach. So Zach was
great on that. Yeah. So I told him, I said, man, you should be doing this full time. But yeah, you could catch me there. I mean, that's the only spot I'm in.
Yep. Okay. Well, as always, you all could hear me on the Adrenaline Cinema podcast. That could be found on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network, just as well as Fantasy Picks Movie Edition as well with Rob and guests. So the last episode that I just uploaded that you should be able to hear in your ears will be Uncharted with Rob. So we covered Uncharted 2022. So that's out now. So check that out. Next up to come out this week will be Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So we're continuing our Apes saga with Jerry and I. Following that, we'll be doing The Angry Red Planet, which we'll be recording probably within the next 2 days. So you can hear Jerry and I do that. And beyond that, probably Jason X and a few other movies that Jerry and I have planned in the works. When Steve gets back, we're probably going to cover Predator, the original, because we're getting yet another sequel. Or prequel, as it were.
Is it really? Are they doing some kind of prequel or something? Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to start covering the Predator movies finally. We already tapped the Aliens movie. We did Alien, we did Aliens. We didn't do any of the Aliens yet. Yeah, so check out Adrenaline Cinema Podcast and the Pirate Core Entertainment Network, as well Fantasy Picks Movie Edition. So just go to piratecoreentertainment.com and check out the links for that, and just subscribe and check that out on all the platforms that we're on. So with that, that is our show, and I just want to thank everyone for listening. I am Mark.
And I am Rob.
And this was Panels to Pixels, and we'll see you on the next panel.
See ya.
See ya, everybody.